Hi, welcome to my video on graphing exponential functions by transformations, part 4. I decided to do this video just to review the different types of transformations as a reflection, stretch, and translation. What I have here is y equals b to the x, where b is greater than 1. That means b is greater than 1. That means we have a growth curve. So y equals b to the x plus 0, which means that the asymptote, ASY, is y equals 0. So the asymptote is right here, the x-axis, y equals 0. And because the base is greater than 1, we have a growth curve. Now, if we let x equals 0 in the equation, y equals b to the 0. Y equals a base to the 0. Base is greater than 1, so any number to the 0 power is 1. So when you let x equals 0 and you get y is 1, that's the y-intercept of the graph. So the y-intercept is 1, 0, 1. And because it's a growth curve goes like this. And as x goes to infinity, y goes to infinity. And as x goes to negative infinity, y is going to 0. That's why y equals 0 is the asymptote. So all exponential graphs of this form, where a is 1, notice a is 1 here, that we have a growth curve. Now, let's graph y equals b to the x and write the equation if it's reflected in the reflected in the y-axis. When you reflect in the y-axis, that means you're going to make x and negative x. So when you change x to a negative x, the graph is reflecting in the y-axis. That means the equation is y equals b to the negative x, replacing x with a negative x. So that means y equals 1 over b to the x. So b is 2 or 3. This is a 1/2 or a 1/3, etc. That means by reflecting in the y-axis, we have the base here is between 0 and 1 over b. So we have the y-intercept never changed, so it goes like this. It becomes a decay curve. So when you reflect a growth curve in the y-axis by making x negative, you get a decay curve. And a decay curve, again, the asymptote is y equals 0. Notice the range is y is greater than 0. And the range here, all y values are greater than 0. And the x-intercept never changed. It's still 1, 0. And the equation is y equals b to the negative x, again, which is 1 over b to the x. And what about if we reflect in the x-axis? So when you reflect in the x-axis and doing the mapping rule on the reflection, x, we change the y to a negative y. So reflecting the x, this graph is reflecting down here. So that means we have negative y equals b to the x. So y equals the negative of b to the x. So that's because we have a negative here, that's doing a reflection in the x-axis. So this graph, the y-intercept, when you reflect, the asymptote is y equals 0, because we got a 0 on the end. But it's reflected, so therefore the y-intercept, when you let x equals 0, y becomes negative 1. So it's reflected in the x-axis, so it's like this. So you can imagine if you're looking at this and you reflect it this way over here, then there it is there. And you can see that the asymptote is y equals 0. The range this time, because it's a negative, the range is y is less than 0. And there's the equation. The equation is y equals negative of b to the x. And number 3, again, don't forget you can pause your video at any time when I'm doing my work to see if you understand what you're doing. translated 3 units up. If you're translated 3 units up, the graph is slides up like this. So that means that's translated 3 units up. So that means that k equals 3. So the equation is y equals b to the x plus 3. So that means if it slides 3 units up, so the asymptote is 3. So the asymptote is right here at y equals 3. That means the range y is greater than 3. So notice this curve went up, so it went like this. So if the y-intercept here is 1 and move it 3 up, it would go 1, 2, it would go to right here. This point right here would be 0, 4. And if you take this equation and you let x equal 0, the base to the 0 power is 1, 1 plus 3 is 4. So notice this is the equation that represents translation 3 units up. 3 units up affects the asymptote. Reflected in the y-axis. Let's have a look at number 4 now. Reflected in the y-axis and translated 3 units down. Remember, reflect in the y-axis, you're changing x to a negative x. So that's that. And it's translated 2 units down. 2 units down is a minus 2. So 2 units down means k is negative 2. So the asymptote is gone down to here. Instead of y equals 0, it's y equals, the asymptote is y equals negative 2. And it's reflected in the y-axis. So that means it's, instead of going like this, it's over here. So it's going like this. And again, there's the equation. Y equals b to the negative x minus 2. We could also make y equals 1 over b to the x minus 2. And remember, b is greater than 1, so this is a 1 over 2 or 1 over 3 or whatever you wish. But that means this base is between 0 and 1, so this is a decay curve. Decay curve, as x goes to infinity, y goes to 0. And x goes to a negative infinity, y goes to infinity. And number 5, we have a range of y is greater than 2. So if this is the y equals b to the x, so if we have a range greater than 2, it means that my asymptote must be y equals 2, which is here. So this is y equals 2. And there's no reflection or just moved up. So y is less than 2. Sorry, I said greater than. I'm not reading it right. This is y is less than 2. The asymptote is 2. And less than is going down. So that means that there is a reflection. So that means the equation is y equals negative of b to the x and plus 2. So it's going, the range is going down from here, so it's reflected. So there is a reflection. Better be careful. Make sure I explain it right. And so if you notice, if you put 0 in here, you get b to 0 is 1. Negative 1 plus 2 is 1. And it's going down. So there's the equation that represents, but it's, because the range is going down, it means it's reflected in the x-axis. So that makes this a negative. And the asymptote is 2, so there's a plus 2. And number 6, what about the range is greater than negative 1? So right here, the range is the asymptote is y equals 0. The range is greater than 0. Now we have the range greater than negative 1. So negative 1 is right here. So that's y equals negative 1. But that's the asymptote because the range is greater than negative 1. You can't have a negative 1 and greater. So that means there's the graph, growth curve. So it's just gone. The asymptote is here, so it's, do it like that. So that means it's not reflected, so it's b to the x minus 1. So when the range is greater than -1, the asymptote is y equals -1, and it's above, so it's positive, so that's a positive right here. B to the x minus 1, the asymptote is y equals -1. Just wanted to do a little bit further explanation on that. It'll help you understand. And if you like my video, click on the like button, click on the subscribe button. If you're not a subscriber, visit my math website, www.mathfullyexplained.com, to find more information about me, my videos, and the content. That's the content on my YouTube channel called Math Fully Explained. Thank you for viewing my video. Hope the video helped you. Bye-bye.